Do you know why some people never get the right answer? It's because they're asking the wrong question. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And the other day I had a rather long and delightful conversation with my number one son, Eli the Great. Lasted over 2 hours. Wow, a 2-hour conversation with a teenager, uninterrupted. Thank you, Lord. And I learned so much, and it got me thinking so much, and I want to share with you and Eli my thoughts. One of the things that Eli expressed to me in our conversation was he had a particular occupation that he was excited about and was going to start training for, so on and so forth. Which, as far as I'm concerned, that's great. Fantastic. You know, as long as it's not going to be, you know, a safecracker or a criminal or a hitman, I'm pretty much going to get behind you, Eli, and whatever it is you decide that you want to do. You know, you're getting to the point, you're 16 and a half, getting ready to go out and be a man in the real world, and you're making decisions. And you know, as I expressed to you on the phone, all we can do as parents, as teachers, as mentors is put you in a position where you can make good judgments. But I digress. My main point I want to make with you today is that most people ask themselves the wrong question, and it starts at a really young age, and we're programmed to do it from our parents to our teachers to our schools to higher education, you name it. What's the question everybody asks? What do you want to be when you grow up? What job do you want to have? What occupation do you want to have? You know, so you start off, you want to be a fireman, you want to be a policeman, you know, you want to be a basketball player. I know I wanted to be Pistol Pete Maravich, all right? There were only a couple of things that prevented me from doing it. One is that I'm not very tall, which wasn't a major one, but not having tremendously good athletic ability or quickness or skill were my major deterrents to achieving that goal. However, most occupations that you want to pursue, you don't need to be LeBron James-like athletically to achieve them. And I want to talk about a couple of people that I know that have taken some unusual jobs, and they ask themselves the right question. So what is the right question? You ready? Here it is. What do I want my life to look like? Question mark. What do I want my life to look like? Now, two friends of mine that I know that I see every year at camp when I go for my old timers week have unusual occupations, and have asked themselves, what do I want my life to look like? One of them is a guy named Alan, and Alan Jacobs. As a matter of fact, Alan Jacobs, if you happen to Google him, happens to be one of the best jugglers in the entire world. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a quick story. I went to a little show at a fair or something like that, and there was a juggler there, and I said, you know, I went up after him, I said, hey, you're pretty good. He said, thank you very much. I said, you know, a buddy of mine is a juggler. He said, oh yeah, what's his name? He said, it's a pretty small community. I said, oh, it's Alan Jacobs. And he said, you know Alan Jacobs? All right, that's how good a juggler Alan Jacobs is. And here's what's kind of mind-boggling. I mean, I went to school with him literally from kindergarten all the way through high school, and kept our association going through this camp organization that we both belonged to. And he was not any kind of a particularly great athlete, to be candid with you, you know. But apparently he's got some unbelievably good hand-eye coordination. because if you're one of the world's best jugglers, you have to have that, and he certainly has, and he's an entertainer, and he chose that lifestyle. And you know, of all the kids that I knew growing up, he was not the one that I would figure to go and, you know, get out of the mainstream, but he decided that's what he wants to do. He's got a wonderful family. He's an entertainer. He loves doing it. You know, he's retired now, but you know, back in his heyday, he was doing a lot of traveling and so on. And it just, you know, he chose that lifestyle. His lifestyle was, I want to be an entertainer. And mostly they did the shows for kids, you know, in schools. So he, you know, and I've seen some of the shows that are on YouTube, and just terrific. And he's so happy. He's got a little house right, you know, up in Maine, and he lives in New York City, and he's got that, you know, dichotomy where he's got like the city and the country, which he decided what he wanted his life to look like. Married, he's got wonderful children. I think he's got grandchildren as well, you know, and he chose that lifestyle. On the other hand, there's another guy that I know from camp. His name is Steve Duchenne. And Steve was a very, very good athlete when he was in school. And so what lifestyle, what did Steve say to himself? I mean, Steve was always kind of, you know, on the fringes of the mainstream, all right? I mean, he was on the fringes of the mainstream, there's no better way to say it, in a good way, okay, in a good way. He decided that he wants his life, he is like a nature person, and he lives, I believe, in Vermont, and works as on a ski slopes, okay? I don't know if he's an instructor or not, but he works at that type of an organization. That's the type of occupation he wants. He's a very free spirit. It's a pleasure to see him. He's always happy. He's always got a huge smile on his face. Is he making a ton of money? No, but he's happy. That's the lifestyle that he chose, that he wants to have. Eli, everybody else, you need to think about what lifestyle you want to have. Do you want to be very, very disciplined? Now, there's some people I know that are very, very disciplined. They like that. You know, they like the 9 to 5, or they like, you know, having particular goals, targets, so on and so forth. But then there are the other people, like I said, like Alan and Steve, that are, you know, not in the mainstream. And they're very happy, and they have wonderful families, and it's just a terrific thing. So success means different things to different people. Now, Eli, when you and I spoke on the phone, one of the things you mentioned was, in this particular job, I can earn, you know, I think you said $150,000 a year. That will, you know, be certainly enough for me to live on. I'd be happy with that. What is it you want to do with your time? How much time during the year do you want to take, let's say, a vacation? What kind of value do you want to add to the community? How creative do you want to be? You follow what I'm saying? So these are the questions you want to ask yourself. And the key question is, what do I want my life to look like? Not, what do I want to be when I grow up? Because we have a whole bunch of astronauts, a whole bunch of firemen, a whole bunch of policemen, many more than we have right now, if you took what somebody said as a little kid, and they keep asking you that. All right, you go to school, what's your major? Okay, what are you going to do with that major? You know, and the thing is, when you're in your late teens, 20s, even to your 30s, you know, as an example, my objective was I wanted to be a school teacher. I was desperate to be a school teacher and a coach. That was my dream. And I became a school teacher. And then outside circumstances forced them to cut back on the number of teachers that they had. And I found myself out of a job. And at that time in my life, I had a very strong personal commitment to myself that I was going to continue to eat. And based upon that commitment, I got myself a job in a sales organization with Mr. Mort Mutnick, the California Blue Ribbon Meatpacking Company, having zero sales experience, was put under the tutelage of Mr. Mutnick and found that my teaching skills translated to what you need to have as a salesperson. Not only that, but during the summer that I started working with Mr. Mutnick, I made twice as much money as I made during the 9 months of the year that you were a school teacher. So I said, you know what? I like this. I like the freedom that I have of choosing my own hours and so on, but there's still a discipline involved of learning what you have to learn, getting referrals, so on and so forth, as far as being a teacher is concerned. But you can change, and sometimes circumstances force you to change, and when they do, embrace it. Embrace the change. And if it's something that you like, and it's something where you want to meander from your original dream, goal, or ambition, there's nothing wrong with that. We can't all be astronauts. So anyway, major point of this particular video is stop asking, what is it I want to be when I grow up? What career do I want to have? And start asking, what kind of lifestyle do I want to live? And always remember, not to ration the passion, but fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.